Beyond the Pain. I am your tattoo artist and host, Chris Trovador. Thank y'all for joining me again on Beyond the Pain. And for those who aren't day one friends, but they're whatever episode this is friends, I have this platform to showcase amazing friends of mine that are talented, but have more amazing stories beyond the tattoos that they have. And that's what I want to highlight. I want to highlight my friends. And also, you know, we never really discuss why certain people get tattoos that they have. And we want to know the real stories behind them. And that's why today I have an amazing guest who is a writer, who is an actor. She done been on Snowfall, Atlanta, and Secure, Grey's Anatomy. She has a movie that came out 2015 called Unexpected. Yo, if y'all don't know about Gail B, y'all gonna know today. Give it up for my homie Gail.
What's up? Hello, and thank you for having me.
No, thanks for being here. I, have been a fan of yours since we met in 2014 or 13 when you did Duffel.
Yes.
With shout out to Eric. Hey.
Yes, shout out to Eric. Oh man, shout out to Fletch for even connecting us.
That's right. He's on episode I think 2 more before this one. But yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but that's when we met. I think it was right before y'all were shooting. We went hiking, I think it was, in LA.
We did. We had a good time. And then we worked so hiking, and then we worked together, and then I came over and visit. We partied some, and then you tattooed me.
Hey. Hopefully it went well. Some complain about my tattooing, say I'm a little rough. I hope some say I'm not rough enough. It's very people are different about tattoos.
It was a pleasure.
Did you have a good experience?
My first and only tattoo experience in LA.
Hey, okay, good. And we did your fingers, right? Your hands and whatnot.
We did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I have pictures of it still.
Oh, it's all good.
Because my fingers are kind of like fading.
It happens. All finger tattoos happen. I done got mine tattooed a few times now.
Yeah.
A horrible mustache. Hey, okay, there we go. See, got the picture right there. Awesome. Did it hurt?
It did not. I actually thought it was gonna hurt, but it didn't. It was like, oh, okay, huh. Now I've had some painful tattoos, but that one was not one of them.
Which one was your most painful?
Inside ankle.
Ooh, ankle does not feel good. Yeah.
Inside ankle, that was terrible. I thought I could not walk. I was like, he chopped my foot off.
What did you get?
I got a heart. I got both of the inside of my ankles done. One is a heart with icicles on it for like cold-hearted, and the other heart is like loving with sun rays for like loving. Because when you get me, you get the best of both worlds.
Okay, there we go. I like it. Usually what I do with this show, I have the guests and we sort of like grade or give up thumbs up or thumbs down or whichever. It all depends on some crazy tattoos that the producer at Dimelo, Steve Dead, shout out to him, picks out for us. So Steve, whenever you ready. Oh, that one's amazing.
That is nice. What is that? A worm?
It's like it looks like a snake.
A snake with spikes?
Yeah, like with spikes on
it. Multiple things.
No, that one's really great. I like that one.
Yeah, that's good.
And if I know we can't zoom in, but it's like it has this peppery effect, like little dots.
Yeah, I see. It looks like it was painful as hell, but
yes, the head does not feel good. I don't even like it.
I'm pretty sure that was like a migraine.
Yeah, and then that sideburn area.
Yeah, that's good. That's nice.
I give that a thumbs up.
I give that a thumbs up.
All right, next one. Oh, that's phenomenal. Hold on, is the left side hasn't been done yet?
Yeah, I don't think the left side. That looks like a paper.
Yeah. So it's probably them putting the stencil on
Uh-huh.
and then getting ready to do it. So it's the picture before it.
So
But that's still cool. I mean, trippy on that on his body.
it's gonna look very real though.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, oh, can I see inside of his chest?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's well done too. Trippy.
It's definitely
He's
well
definitely not.
done. If we're going off the right side, it's definitely well done. The color is nice.
Right.
Because I even like how they added like that gold.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And to get that gold, it's like there's no gold color. You have to blend it in with the yellow, with the brown, and it's the shading and the reflection that really gives it that color.
Even like the arm piece, I don't know if that's like water or muscle, like bone, like you're looking inside, like. But
yeah, so like the term is for that kind of fleshy thing. It's like a biomechanical yeah, it's the bios in the word biomechanical. It's surrealism. It's a couple things in there.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, I'm gonna thumbs it up.
Thumbs it up. He didn't get the nipple though. You can see that.
You didn't get the nipple. Oh my goodness. Maybe he couldn't take the pain.
The nipple area, I mean, I got close and I understand. I felt like he was just tearing it off. It was like, no, away. Fade it out.
Like your nipple was being torn off?
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Because I don't know if you've ever had like a 15 mag shader on you. It's usually the big ones. They're usually 15 needles like layered up like that. And so it's to cover more skin, more areas. So like tribals, things like that. And so
those 15.
Yeah. So it's just real. It looks like a shovel almost.
Oh, see, no, I have not.
Yeah. So it's a 15 mag, and he was going on my chest, and right when it gets the nipple, I'm like, nah, fade it out.
Is that the worst? Is that the Is that like the needle that causes the most pain?
No. I think it just depends on the part of body. Each part of the body is different. So some parts could actually be less painful with a shader as opposed to a liner.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So a liner, like when you like the ones we did with your fingers, those could hurt people more depending on where the body is, because it's just one pressure on one area. As opposed to, okay, we're just getting all this done in one.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So it just depends on the area of the body, and the, person's threshold. But that's a thumbs up on that one for sure. Hell yeah. All right, next one. Hopefully you got this is the same one as the first one, almost. That's great. I love that.
Nice. That color is nice. Like that coloring is. Yeah.
That was really good.
Like, look at the black.
It's solid. It's
black.
It is solid for sure.
Oh,
I like it because it's like the snake's entire mouth is covering.
Eating her ear. Yeah. Like it almost seems like it's not really on her.
Yeah.
Because especially the ear stands out. Oh my goodness.
And that's what's great about adding black to tattoos. Like it gives it that depth.
Yeah.
So it looks really nice. I like that one.
I know this had to be painful as hell for her because this part, like the neck, collarbone, shoulder area, painful as hell. It's probably the second most. I got my top of my shoulder. So this is probably the second most painful.
What is that? What you got there?
It's my godson's birthday.
Nice. That's very nice. Very thoughtful. Your godson got one of you on him?
No, he's like 10. I would hope not.
Well,
I hope not.
Yeah, that's funny. What was your first tattoo you said again?
My first tattoo was my name in cursive with the Playboy bunny on each side. I got it when I was 16.
Okay, did that signify something? The
It
Playboy Bunny?
signified absolutely. I just thought Playboy Bunny was super cool. It signified absolutely nothing. Typical tramp stamp. Everybody got to get your little. One of my friends, he got a tramp stamp, and I was like, "You got a tramp stamp?" He was like, "It's a hustler's patch."
Oh, what?
A hustle patch. A hustler's patch. Yeah.
It's like a badge on the streets. Like
Yeah.
you hustle so well, you got to this level. I'm gonna get the little patch.
Yeah. And put that on your back, right above your panty line.
What happens when you get to the next level? Each level is either lower or just more hidden areas that you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a hustle patch.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So back to you and your career.
Yes.
When did you start acting?
I moved to LA August 1st, 2013. I always did some sort of like performing, just growing up as a kid, just regular Christmas play, Valentine's Day play. Church, but more so like school. You know how like the different schools, you have your little elementary school plays, Thanksgiving play, all that. So, and I did like ballet. So I always loved performing. It wasn't until my senior year of high school that I was like, okay, well, I'm about to graduate. I want to act and have this as a career, because I originally wanted to be like a cheerleader, and I heard that didn't make no money. So I was like, okay, so changing career plans. And I was, at the time when I was a senior, I was taking Dr. Narker's drama class at my high school at Stevenson High. And I loved it. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, I want to do this. This is a lot of fun. I mean, I think it's great. We have an amazing time. And there's not a lot of pressure. So that was kind of like when I decided, okay, I'm going to do this. But then my mom wanted me to go to college, of course. And it took some time before I could actually move to LA and take it serious. So I kind of started taking it serious I was going to AIU for media film production like 2011. And I was able to get in some acting classes just locally. And then, had to finish college, but graduated and moved to LA. And that's when I took it to another level, because before I moved, when I was here in Atlanta, I was going back and forth to New York every other month to take training and do classes there. But I did have a really good studio that I studied at here in Atlanta, which is now unfortunately closed down. But yeah, I would say it's okay. It happens. I got definitely everything I needed from there. And a lot of great people came out of there. One of my cast members, my scene partner, Isaiah John from Snowfall, actually came from AOA.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's so amazing to get to work with people. And then the girl who was just on there on season 4 with us, Adriana Mitchell, came from there as well. So a lot of greats came through. Our whole Courtney.
Yeah, that's really cool to be able to start a career with, a group of people and then disperse and then come back.
Yes.
That's really cool.
So yeah,
and when you said
2013.
No.
Well, I would say 2010. I would say that's like when I got serious about it, and then 2013 I moved to LA.
Wow. That led me to, was there any influence in your life that led you to acting? What was it about acting as opposed to, what did you get your degree in?
My degree is in accounting. I was a double major, accounting and finance, because I wanted to, since my mother told me, I had to go to college and major in something, that I could get a job in and it be useful. I figured accounting, because then I knew I wanted to own my own production company, and that way I would kind of know how to run it from the ground up, because, in the beginning, it's just you playing every role. And then when I did have the funds, when they do increase and I can put somebody in that role, I want to be able to look at it and say, hey, this is incorrect, or just eyeball some things just to do the checks and balances. Because in a lot of companies, especially when they're small businesses, they put people in place over their finances, and sometimes people can make errors intentionally and steal from them, and that causes the downfall of a whole company. When if you kind of knew a little bit about it, you could make sure that things are, in place. But
Smart. That's smart.
I kind of always love the adrenaline of performing. Like I used to cheer, I would did co-ed competition cheerleading for the longest. I also did softball, ran track. So just that whole adrenaline, I love performing. I love like practicing, rehearsing, and then you have the big performance, and even, no matter how much you practice or how good your rehearsals is, there's always like the big day. So I think I just always loved that. And then it was kind of the push of my senior year, taking that theater class, just, regular high school theater class, where I just had a lot of fun. And the teacher kind of just showed that this is something that people actually do and get paid for a living to do. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. Sounds
That's
up my alley.
great. Do you find all the other activities, not necessarily accounting or whatnot, but like you were saying, you were a cheerleader, you were running track and field, right?
Yes, I was.
So those forms of performing or acts of discipline, do you apply those same kind of tactics when you're acting? Like the discipline that comes from behind it, not necessarily, running and doing all those things might help. But
I do. The discipline and the work ethic, I definitely apply when it comes to acting. There's so many people who I feel don't have discipline and successful work ethic in this industry, which they may have the talent, but if you don't have the discipline and the work ethic, you're missing like 2/3 of what you need to really be successful and take off and grow your career in this industry. One thing I talk to PD about all the time is finishing projects. Like, you have to finish and see things through, no matter, like, once you get started. I think that discipline, because a lot of times in this industry, it'll look a lot further than it really is. And there's so many things that will discourage you and make you want to say, you know what, just F it, and I'll pick up something later. I'll start a new project, But I think it's having that discipline of completing something, finishing it, being a finisher, and not giving up. Like with track, running full out all the way through, not looking back to see, how far you've come, but just going focus, having that laser focus and going across the finish line. Because in so many points on this journey, people may look back and say, okay, I've been in LA for years I've been doing this and chasing this for years. And they don't feel like they've made any progress, but really they have. If they just keep going, they will see, once you reach the finish line, you'll see how much progress you've made. You can check times. You can really monitor and compare yourself to yourself.
Yeah. Wow. Absolutely. I'm a snap to that right now, because just that's half the battle. Like, I know so many people who are extremely talented, but they want to wake up at 5 p.m. in the afternoon and just watch Family Guy or whatever the case may be all day. Yeah. And so that's why I find it very interesting that I see a lot of people who are, on the top of their game. They use these specific disciplines that are from, growing up, and apply them to whatever it is career that they're going for now.
It's like when you have, sorry, my phone isn't, my laptop isn't charging. Let me get close.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Another outlet. It's also like when you have sports, when I was in sports, I may have like a meet or a game the next day. So I can't sit up or hang out or go to a party or drink or do this and that a particular night, because I need to be fully prepared and ready for my game. And it's the same way with acting. Like, there's times where There we go. Oh, I got me an outlet. It's the same thing with acting. There's parties that I have to miss. There's things that I have to say, have the discipline to say, no, I have to have the work ethic to get proper rest. So when I do read something, I can fully digest it. So I can have a clear mind. So I can say, okay, let me run these lines instead of sitting up all night, binge watching some reality show or whatever you have it.
Yep. And that, I mean, we see that in sports nowadays, where, right? For example, we'll see, you can say, a basketball player wants to celebrate that they made it to the playoffs, and then they spend their whole night, drinking and whatnot. They have a game the next day, and they don't perform as adequate as they should be.
Exactly. You have to. It's a commitment. Like anything else, honestly, it's a commitment where you have to decide. I'm going to make the sacrifice to not do this temporarily because the reward is so much greater. Like it really is. I cannot tell you, man, Chris, numerous times where I had to be like, I can't go right now. I'm filming right now. And, COVID is real. Cases are rising. People are testing positive. So I can't go out and hang out with my friends and crowds like I normally do because I want to keep the production safe. If we shut down, everybody is out of money for a while. If we shut down, some people may still get money, but the people who aren't series regulars on the show, they don't make any money. And it's like, then it also disappoints the audience and the fans because the series doesn't get put out. So I think having to display discipline and work ethic now in the height of, well, not the height, but during a pandemic, still as a, okay, it's charging. Okay, cool. Even as an established actor, still having to, it goes back to the same stuff that I learned when I was younger: discipline, work ethic, commitment, sacrifices.
And you, I mean, not to solely get all up in your business like that, but you have family members who do sports as well?
I do. My dad coaches in the NFL for, he's with the Cleveland Browns this year.
See, I knew it was something like that. I just didn't know what it specifically was.
This is his third year with the Browns. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you. And then I have a cousin that plays for the Bills. Daryl Johnson plays for the Bills.
Wow.
And yeah.
And I can only imagine that fuels, for what you do. Like, for example, my mother in Puerto Rico, she was a clown in churches. She did like little shows. She did for the church and whatnot. And she did sculpting, she did painting. So all these other kinds of influences, definitely, I think if your parents do it, like not all the time, but sometimes it'll not necessarily get passed down genetically, but get passed down through the information or the environment.
Yes, I agree. It creates an environment where you see it. And sometimes we are a product of our surroundings.
Yeah.
So
On that note, we're gonna cut to a quick commercial break to pay my bills.
Get them bills paid.
Yeah, let's pay these bills. Oya Dimelo Network with Steve in the back. Hit it.
Hold up. I need you to check out my art.
Sur le dembo, Lego. Tu vas danser sur le dembo. Vamos bébé sur le rythme. Tu m'appelles Chico Papito en pensant que je suis dominicano. Comme Mona Lisa, tes yeux sont peligrosas. Eh, na 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 na, oh na 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 na, eh na 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 na, oh na 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 na. Tu vas danser sur le dembo, pull up DJ
everybody. This is Ruben Mentive. I am the host of La Lista, a Latinx writers podcast.
¿Cuánto te trepan pantalones o te quepa, boricua pura?
What's going on, y'all? My name is Monica Marquez, aka Momo from Momo on the Move. Come check out The Hustle on all listening platforms and visually through YouTube.
Welcome back to Beyond the Page. I'm here with my guest, Gail. What's up? All right. Most meaningful tattoo.
My grandparents' name.
Your parents' name.
My grandparents.
Your grandparents, my bad.
Yes, they have passed.
I'm sorry. I got one on my wrist too from my grandmama that passed.
Oh, yes.
I did it in my kitchen back when I was learning how to tattoo. I was like, ow!
You did it on yourself?
Oh, I've done a few on myself. I've done like the koi fish right here. I did the foo dog here, and then I just had it touched up later on.
How did you do this on yourself? Would you use the mirror?
I used the mirror. I had some anger issues at that time. A little bit of Jameson. You'd be like, oh, I can do it. I can do it. And you it's just doing it upside down. So.
Ooh.
Yeah, it literally, you know, with gloves and everything, of course, sanitary.
It was really painful.
I had to do it like this, yeah. It's tricky, you know, but at the same time, it's just like, oh, sorry about the kids in the background. They're not my kids, but, you know, this is the special episode of me in Puerto Rico.
Let me find out you got some little Trovadors. How to say it, Trovador?
Trovador, yeah, absolutely.
Trovador. Let me
You know
find
what
out what
Trovador
that's
means?
Trovador. What does it mean?
Oh, so
Okay.
trovadores are musicians that would freestyle songs, poetry, stories to the people.
Oh.
So that's where that nickname comes from, where it's like Chris Trovador, because I, fell in love with acting through improv, through
Yeah.
making stuff up, rapping, things like that. So,
Oh my God. You know what you would be really great on? Sorry, this is like completely left field. Blind spotting. It's on Star.
Blind. I mean, not only is the movie phenomenal,
Uh-huh.
I haven't gotten a chance to see the show, but I saw a couple trailers because I follow the people that are in it, and it is amazing. Just the trailers alone.
You would kill it. You would
Oh
kill
well, if you know somebody, that's dope. That's dope. I'm glad that you have been able to succeed in your career so much, and then also be someone who has tattoos.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, has tattoos affected your career in any way?
Okay.
Good or bad?
So listen. Okay, everybody says something each project, like, oh, you should not get tattoos. It's gonna stop you from getting jobs. Every time I swear. And every time I'm like, now I gotta get another one. Like every time before this new project I'm working on, I got both of my ankles. So I got my ankles done.
Hey, oh, you got the whole thing done, like all the way around.
Yeah, all the way around on both of my ankles.
Okay.
And then, so nobody knows this is like exclusive tea. And then I get there and they add to my character has tattoos everywhere.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so I was like, now look at that there. I was like, So it hasn't hindered me in any way. Like they always ask, oh, do I have a release? Now this one, they always cover this one up because it's the days.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to blur that one out. Don't even show it twice because they ain't paying no bills on here.
Yeah. So I always have to get that one covered up because Disney is never going to allow people to use their images. But the rest of them, I mean, I have clearances on all of my work. So
that's good. That's good.
If they sometimes, Snowfall, they cover it up because that's the 80s people didn't have. But where I can show it, they allow me to show it, and it's been great. But no, it's never been a problem. They always ask, and then if they don't want to show it between makeup or between wardrobe, they cover it up.
Right. That's good. So, man, I'm gonna yell at this little girl.
Oh no! To be honest, she really doesn't even sound like a little girl. I wasn't sure if it was like a cat or a bird. So.
Oh, okay, so good. Okay, cool. If that's what we can pretend that it is, I honestly think this sounds like a little girl getting murdered outside, and I don't want people to hear that.
No.
They're like Puerto Rico's hood, but goddamn. That's great. I'm glad that it hasn't hindered because I've gotten those ups and downs from it, and just being typecast specifically for guys with tattoos or the criminal, or whatever the case may be. It's left for lack of terms, a scar on me just auditioning for commercials because commercials are so big on that stereotype kind of casting. And then I've spoken about this on Beyond the Pain before, but just like it's also have hindered me in a way too, or not having enough has also hindered me, like because I don't have them on my face or whatever the case may be, then I also don't get picked for other roles. Like I've auditioned to be a tattoo artist like 15 times, not gotten not one. And I've brought in my portfolio. I'm like, yo, I'm a real tattoo artist.
Like this is what I do. But see, this is what I don't. So with like commercials, because in the beginning when I was going to auditions before, I didn't even have as many as I have now. I used to cover them up with like makeup just so they wouldn't know, or I would make sure I wear clothes where you really couldn't see them, because I didn't want that to be a reason that they did not choose me. So I would say, you know, just when it comes to like commercial auditions or certain auditions, just kind of pick and choose depending on the character. If the character is a character who doesn't seem like he would have tattoos, you know, wear long sleeves, you know, cover it up some. What I love about my finger tats that you did do, you know, on the top of my knuckles, I made sure it was red because a lot of people miss it. They don't see it. But yeah, that I would definitely say just pick and choose kind of the wardrobe that you have, and then you could always put makeup on them. But then once you book the job, she'll be like, ha ha,
bow.
Because they'll cover it up.
Yeah, we're gonna need the Gail masterclass real soon. That's great. So where we left off in your journey was you get to LA.
Yes.
You graduated college, you get to LA. Then around 2013, 2014, you start booking auditions, or is Duffel the first short film?
So Duffel was, okay, before I got to LA, I booked a few like student film projects out here. Well, let me back up some. My foundation is theater. So I was already doing plays. So I did a few short films. I had a reel. Right before I moved to LA, I had an agent. Never met her. I had submitted virtually and did an online self-submission. She signed me. Then I moved to LA like shortly after. She was very, very disappointed and she dropped me. So I was like heartbroken because it was my first agent. I just submitted, I cut together a reel from my, no. At the time I didn't have a reel. I put myself on tape doing a monologue and I submitted that. And then I submitted my resume, which had a lot of theater on it. And it had maybe like 2 student film projects, short student films. So then when I moved to LA, she dropped me. I was like super sad, asking friends like, "What do I do?" And they say, "You know,
sure she's super sad right now. Let's not, you know."
Look, because I really tried. I was like, "Oh, I do understand if that's the case, but you know, I could always self-tape auditions, and then when I need to fly back in town for like a callback, I could." She was like, "No, my daughter moved out there and it didn't work." And I was like, "You know, no disrespect, but your daughter and me are 2 different people." Not saying, you know, but I just think, and she was just like, "No." So, you know, good riddance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason. So
everything. So a friend told me, you know, submit to a few agencies in the Southeast, you know, which is like the southern eastern states, East Coast and the southern states. So I did that. And a lady called me back, and it was just so amazing. Her name was Carla Huff. It's spelled How, but it's pronounced Huff. Okay. So that like really took off. That was January 2014. Because I got there August 1st, 2013. So January 2014, I signed with Carla. And honestly, that year she only got me 4 auditions. So I tell everybody all the time, it's not quantity, it's quality. Because the very first audition she got me was for, I think it was called The Originals or something like that.
Oh yeah,
vampire show.
Yeah.
So
I've heard of it. I don't know necessarily what it is, but I've heard of it.
It's a show about like vampires and stuff. I've never seen. Well, I did see it when I auditioned, but that was the first one that she got me something for Nickelodeon. She got me a commercial, and then she got me Unexpected. And Unexpected I booked. So she got me solid. And this was me not having any TV credits. I had no TV credits, no film theater credits. So she was able to get me in a room. It's just, Unexpected was, of course, an independent film. It did the film festival route. So it got me the exposure. My performance got me the exposure to bigger, of course, platforms, open up bigger rooms for auditions. But that's what happened. I moved and I was like, all right, because I didn't know anybody who was there yet to like really put me on. And I just didn't know what to do. I was like, now I don't have any reps. Now what? I said, okay, well, I'm going to let God be my agent, my manager, my publicist. Like,
Ooh.
yeah, all of these things. And I was really on some order my steps, because I had no idea. It was like throwing everything at the wall and then figuring out what sticks. Did classes out there, definitely did the class circuit because, you have some classes where people are just there to take your money. And then you have some classes where you're going to actually learn something.
Yeah.
So that was that whole journey. But it was amazing.
And then at that time, not sorry to cut you off.
No.
At that time, is this when you wrote your poetry book?
Yes, this was. So I wrote a poetry book. It's titled Levon. It is an intimate look at my life through poems. So I call it Beanetry. Yes. I wrote my book while I was in LA from 2013 to about, it was a collection of poems that I wrote over the years. And then I had to decide which poems were actually going to go in the book, the order. Like, I don't know. I never, if this is probably the closest it's ever came to being a musician and figuring out a track list, which songs are going to make the album, what order you're going to put it in. Because when I tell you, trying to figure out which poems, and I have a millions of poems, trying to figure out which poems were going to make the book and the order, how I was going to set it and everything. It was like a nightmare. Like, I was like,
So which ones did you initially end up choosing?
So I made a theme. That was me deciding that, okay, this book is going to be an intimate look at my life. So it was, then I categorized it. 8 is my favorite number. So I had 8 categories. And
8 is your favorite number?
8 is I have 2 favorite numbers, 8 and 24. I am not a
Wow. Mine is 8 and 28. Okay,
Whoa.
continue. Sorry.
Okay, but what is your sign?
You talking about Zodiac?
Yes.
Gemini.
Okay, I'm a Sagittarius. Okay.
We
get along though. We rock.
I don't know what that didn't give you such a big reaction like the numbers.
We rock. I thought you were gonna say you were a Sagittarius or a Scorpio. I was gonna say now it's getting weird. Now I'm afraid. But yeah, so 8 is my favorite number. I was gonna go with 8 categories. And cool. Each category has 5 poems. So that was how I chose it.
That's awesome. Congrats. Sorry. Yeah, I was like, don't forget that part. Because I know, because like we knew each other around that time. And so when I remember, just checking out the book, I was like, what's this book? And it was great. Everyone should check it out. Where can they find it at?
Let me see if it's still on Amazon. They can always hit me in a personal message, like on any of my DMs or regular message, and I always ship it to them. Let me.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, that was perfect.
And it used to be on Amazon. I'm not sure it's still on there, but they can always hit me up because I have.
Yeah, they'll definitely do that. They'll definitely do that. And so the book comes out. God is your agent and your manager,
and my publicist.
And your publicist.
So then Carla, I submit. Carla hits me up. Oh no, because the book didn't come out in 2013, 2014. The book didn't come out to 2017. Took some time. Because at first I didn't want to do a book. I wanted to just do visuals and And I let my friends dorm time and read it, and they were like, you should do a book. I was like really running away from, everybody kept saying do a book. And I was like, no, like I don't want to do a book. Like what? No.
Is it because it's nerve-wracking? You're putting your thoughts out into the world?
No, I never wrote a book before. So I was like, I don't even know where to start. Like I'm not I write scripts. I write poems. But to write a book, I'm like, I've never wrote a book. I don't even know anybody who's ever written a book. No. So that just seemed like it was a bit out my wheelhouse at first,
Yeah.
But years later. But no, so I signed with the agent. I submit to an agency. They sign me. Then I book Unexpected. That does the film festival circuit, South by Southwest, Sundance, all these different film festivals. And now we're into 2015 because that's when it went Sundance 2015. I got exposure through magazines. The Hollywood Reporter named me Next Generation Top 10 Breakout Actors. New York Mag, thank you, Variety. Like everybody was writing about it. Met with some managers. Ended up, before I even went to Sundance, my current manager now, reached out to me and was like, hey, I just wanted to meet with you. Da, 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 da. I was like, is this real? Her name is Doreen Wilcox Little. She's with Anonymous Content. They produced what's that movie with the Revenant, with the bear and
the Revenant, yeah.
The Revenant. But they have like a lot of great things under their belt. They have a lot of great actors that they manage. So I was like, is this real? Like, she reached out to my email address because that's what I used to have on everything on my website, on IMDb. So I was like, oh shit, I got an email from this lady. Told my agent. She was like, oh, this is legit. Let's set it up. So met with her. I met with a couple of people from a few different management companies. But I told her, I said, look, I feel her energy matched mine. I honestly felt like she was like an old white version of me. And I was like, this is weird, scary, weird. I like
same numbers. She was also a Gemini, probably.
But yeah, so that's when I got with my management company. And then we hit the ground running. Now it's so crazy because Unexpected was a self-tape. Not self-submission, but it was a self-tape. So I hadn't been in a room, like large rooms. So after Unexpected and I got with my manager, I was getting these huge rooms, Star Wars, Star Trek, Black Panther, like all of these major rooms. And I really hadn't been in stuff like that before. So I was definitely green. And she was getting feedback like, they're saying like they just feel like you're not ready and you're green. And so what's happening? And I just felt like there was things I wasn't understanding in the room. Or even with the sides, and I wasn't asking questions. So she was telling me like, you're talented. If there's something you don't understand, ask questions, like ask for clarity. Like if you need to do it again, ask. So I just really had to learn how to own the room, like, and know that this is my time. They want to see me just as much as I want to be here. So I went through like a year and a half of kind of really learning that. And then she sent me out on these things called generals, where I met with casting directors. I met with agents. I met with producers and directors and networks and studios. And that was really good because they got to know my face. They got to just kind of know me. It wasn't an audition. It was kind of like more chill. So the pressure was off. And then they were like rooting for me. They were a fan of me. So it was like, okay, well, and then when they got roles that they felt fit me, they would bring me in. Wow. So I ended up, she did say she needed more help. So I ended up changing agencies and I got with Innovative Artists. That was probably, let's see. So Unexpected was 2015. Then I did Insecure and Belko Experiment. I did Belko Experiment while I was still with Carla. I think by the time I did Insecure, I was then with Innovative. And after Insecure, it's so crazy because there was a lot of me in Unexpected and Insecure. I wasn't like that really solidified it for people. Like, oh, she can act. Like you.
Okay. That's crazy because you're a lead in Unexpected, right?
Yes.
So that's very interesting.
Yeah, but I think, sometimes with people, they need to see the stamp. It was the HBO stamp. It was the Issa Rae stamp. So they were like, oh, she's like really talented. Like she can act. And I'm like, that was only maybe like 5 minutes of clips, if of me in Insecure. But okay, cool. I'll take it. So that really started getting more eyes and getting people to be like, oh, okay, let's bring her in. Let's have her. Because it took me a while, even when I got with good reps, for people to even allow me in the room. My reps would submit me, but some of the casting directors, they just would decline on seeing me and would not invite me for an audition. So it's working, hitting that pavement, working like on and on to say, okay, please let her in, please let her in, please let her in. The project that I'm on now, I auditioned for it 5 times. Wow. Like same role, but like, the process of like, you go and audition, call back, producer session, creator session, network, and then I still didn't book it. Now, years later, that was 2018. Now, fast forward to 2021, I don't even have to audition for it. It's a straight offer. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. What's interesting, and I want to just rewind slightly, is when you're being sent out because you felt like, well, they felt like you weren't ready, right?
Correct.
So at that point, when your manager's sending you with these casting directors and you're just talking to them, they become a fan of you, is in between, it seems, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you're also doing that discipline and that training that you would sort of like when you're doing track, field, and so on, right?
Yes, correct.
So it's just like that. Okay, now I have to. This is a new field. This is a new thing. I have to train and learn these different ways of going about it, as opposed to a self tape. To now training the room to see you in that specific light.
Correct. And then on top of that, you also have when you do a self tape, normally you're taping with someone who is giving you something. A lot of times these casting directors, they're just reading lines. They've seen plenty people. So they're not even giving you, when you self tape, you can kind of make it the best tape and it's in your favor and you look favorable. You look talented. You look like you're hitting all the beats. Your chemistry with the reader is great. So to go in the room and then to go from getting something to going in a room and you get nothing, where it's dead, like even the energy is not even like, oh, happy to be here. It's like, sit on the X right there. Okay, it's a little different. But I've learned now to navigate it, to be able to create, whether it be a hey, how was your day? Thanks for having me. Do you mind letting me know what my frame is? So that way I can know how much space I have to play. If I have any questions about the sides or the characters, I'm comfortable now to where I can ask that.
Yeah. I had to go through that same, not nowhere near the same in that process, but in the process of being a tattoo artist. You have a client, they're nervous, they don't know what they're getting into, they don't even know you sometimes, they just meet you upon the first time. And I have to control the room in that sense. Yeah. Like, either they're nervous, you're trying to make them laugh, or even when I'm performing on stage, like that's a whole other thing when you're doing stand-up or when you're doing improv or whatever. So then to go into a room and these people don't know you do those things, and then you have to start from square one in this other realm or track or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I found myself having to learn those steps. Okay, this is the acting in a room with other people. This is the self-tape. All right, the self-tape has to be clean background. You have to clear audio.
Yeah. This is true. These little, it's crazy because it's little things that can make or break it. It's little things that can. I was talking to a friend. He sent me an audition to look at that he taped, and then I gave some feedback. And I told him it was a great take that he sent me, but it's some minor notes that I told him could go from being pinned to being straight booked. I said these are just the little details, and then like you said, having to make the adjustment from. My background is theater. My foundation is theater. Having to make the adjustment from theater to film to TV because it's different realms. Like TV is on a time limit, so you got to get there wherever you're going with it sooner. Your beats got to be a little tighter. It's not the long dramatic pause as you have for film with the, the silent, it's a lot different when you're doing television.
Yeah.
You have some writers who, with television, I improv so damn much on Atlanta, on Snowfall. I improv a lot. With the show I'm on now, there is no room for. They're like, look, well, for one, she comes from theater, but it's like word for word, and the script is already over, so it's like we're already tight on things. So, don't add. Just say what's there.
Say what's there.
And then some auditions. So it's also with filling the room out, because some auditions you can go in and they're like, play with it, make it you.
Yeah. I love those kinds of auditions. It's so much better. You feel better. You don't have to be like, okay, I have to do this, or even sometimes when like people will come. I mean, this is casting directors and the bullshit of Hollywood, where I've been in auditions where it's like, okay, you're gonna play a Dominican actor. He's this way. And then they have words that Dominicans would never say, for example, or a Puerto Rican wouldn't say. It's like, oh no, that's a Mexican Spanish. So in my mind, I'm like, let me help y'all out. Okay, let me switch up the cadence of our Spanish. And like, oh no, stick to what's on paper.
Yeah, it's like what's on the paper is not realistic. It's not authentic. It's actually not genuine. It's actually bull.
Right. And so, I think that's so great. And for those that don't, know the industry, knowing that you have to train differently depending on the realms that you have. Like in the Olympics, for example, there are some places that the temperature is different. The higher elevation in air is different. And they have to specifically train those ways as we should be training in, depending on our careers and whatnot. Like I do that with tattoos. I'm gonna do an anime tattoo. Oh, I'm gonna do a tribal. I'm gonna switch and learn how to do a realistic or color realism. And you're just constantly maneuvering and training for those things, but you have to do it beforehand. I can't just train on somebody's skin that's permanent forever. I have to go back, draw these things, draw it a few times so that it's just easier. So when I get to it, right, exactly. The work ethic. That's going to be the title of this episode. The work ethic.
The work ethic.
Yes. Before we go, I really wanted to bring up something I've been seeing all over the internet. So I hear you got some cookies out there. Do you have a picture of this thing that everyone's been sending you?
I have a picture.
Awesome thing I've seen.
Let me see. You talking about the Wanda's crack cookies.
So for those that don't know, her character's name is Wanda. And you want to go more in depth with your character so I don't butcher it?
Okay, so my character on Snowfall is Wanda Bell. She was a roundaway girl from the 80s in LA. And she was dating a drug dealer. And they brung her in the fold to where she started cooking a crack. They sold crack. She started cooking the crack. Now, what people didn't know back when crack first came out is being around it, touching it, you kind of get addicted. So, of course, she kind of started stealing some and selling some on the side and taking some and using it for recreational purposes. She became an addict. So she went from being beautiful roundaway 80s LA girl dating a dope dealer to being the dope fiend. So now, and this, from what I've learned, is in Detroit. They have taken Wanda and put her on the bag, and now she is. This is weed. You now have Wanda's crack cookies.
Genius. I wish I would have. I've designed bags for people all over the world and whatnot, and I haven't gotten that one, and I wish I would have got that one. That is so good.
Yes, you now have Wanda's crack cookies in Detroit, and I'm pretty sure it's going to take off and go other places. I'm surprised LA wasn't the first place to have it.
Right? You would think, but now, hey, get your check.
Get my check. That is my likeness.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so funny. One more thing. Okay, did you get a chance to work with John Singleton?
Oh, I most certainly did, which I will forever cherish.
Okay.
He is a GOAT in real life.
Wow. Yeah, I just wanted to know that. My bad. I
did, and it was a beautiful experience.
That's awesome. Well, where can people find you one more time, and any upcoming projects that you want to blast?
I'm currently working on a show. It is amazing. My addition to the cast has not been announced yet, so I cannot say, But listen, when it drops, when it's public, I'm gonna scream it from the mountaintops, from the low tops, from the valleys, from the hills, from the rivers, because it's definitely a show that everybody should watch. I love it. I was already a fan before I was cast on it. So I'm in the process of that. This is the hardest I ever worked in my life. Listen, this role is challenging, but I am so grateful. I hope and pray that I can do it justice and make my city proud, make my friends and family proud. Snowfall, of course, we're gearing up to start back at the end of this year, our season 5. Which, thank you. I'm very, very excited to be a part of. And I'm working on my own stuff. It's called Blank Privilege, so hopefully that will drop next year.
You're an actor in it, or writer, or
actor, writer, producer.
Ooh.
Thank you, producer. Thank you. So yeah, working on that. You know, constantly grinding on a daily, trying to get more projects out there and more looks and more exposure as a writer producer. That way I can put people like you and my great friends who are extremely talented on. But if you're looking for me on social, on Instagram, it's Gail __ Bean, GAIL 2 Bean, BEAN. And Twitter, it's Gail _ Bean. Really, if you just type Gail Bean in all things, you'll find me.
Google it.
See me in the streets of LA or Atlanta when I do finally rap, or Accra, Ghana.
Ooh, wait, hold on. For those that don't know, why did you say that last part?
Because I am building a home in Ghana, in Africa, in Accra. And that's that. That'll be my first home. That's my very first home will be in Africa. That's
so dope. Listen, yeah, I mean, if Puerto Rico wasn't getting so gentrified, you know, I'd do the same out here, but I might just have to stay in my grandparents' house. Gail, thank you so much for joining me on Beyond the Pain. I'm so glad we got to showcase who you are and who you will continue to be. We're going to be there clapping for all the awards, all the nominations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, this is Beyond the Pain. Yeah, Beyond the Pain.